You're watching Bum's Bonehead Blunders Top 5. This rare footage shows the first day any of these three had ever sailed. This footage is taken in the San Diego Bay, where they took 3 sailing lessons, including one that happened to be in a gale force wind. Three months later, they were in Florida, and a week later, they had purchased their very own sailboat. Bum's Bonehead Blunders. Number 5. Gimbal Stove. As they inspect their future sailboat for the first time, we catch a glimpse of the custom 2-burner propane gimbal stove. This was one of the first items to be removed. They used the space for food storage,
which is about 5 containers of peanut butter, some more jalapenos,
and this was their replacement cooking method.
Induction burner. We have here our GoSun solar oven. She's a beaut. Water boiler. So this thing we can hook up to this inverter and it'll make boiled water in 20 seconds or so.
But what they soon realized was how much strain these appliances would put on the battery bank being powered through the inverter. They later added a propane barbecue, even though they removed their gimbal stove in part because they did not want to use propane. Their GoSun solar oven has served them well, but their main method of cooking is their propane camping stove. Bum's Bonehead Blunders. Number 4. Buying process. They purchased the 1974 Carter 33 without conducting a survey or performing a sea trial. They never saw below the waterline, and this is what happened when they tried to start their engine.
Let it go. Well, this was clogged, and so it was backing up and it was blowing the boot that holds the seawater and the antifreeze, blowing it a little open and letting salt water slip into the antifreeze in the cooling system, and that created a chemical reaction which slowly eroded our circulation pump. This is it before, this is the outside. More importantly, the inside. It's a little dark in here, and we scraped out all this corrosion, but when we took this off, this was all filled up, both sides, full with gunk.
And that's where the thermostat was.
And this one wouldn't turn. You can see it's barely turning now. And so when we fired the engine up, it got caught, caused the belt to squeak, which initially freaked us all out. And then once the water got stuck and wasn't flowing, it created a backflow, filled up our overflow tank, and then started shooting up into the sky. And it was a disaster.
The seller had to fly in from out of state and had the heat exchanger in his possession. He said so that nobody could steal the boat, so they were unable to start the engine before he arrived. He also brought with him brand new sails, but locked the boys into a verbal contract before booking his flight, saying, "Don't waste my time." Bum's Bonehead Blunders. Number 3. Batteries. During the 7 months they were connected to shore power, they never tested their batteries. This nearly cost them after their very first sail to Key West from Tampa, Florida.
Day 2 in Key West. We are about to head into town to deal with our battery situation when we hear our neighbor over an intercom screaming at us. We couldn't make out what he was saying, but we all come out of the cabin and our boat had slipped 170 yards, somehow just missing every boat near us, and about 15 yards away from hitting land. That's when we went to fire the engine. No luck there because the batteries are shot. Tony, like the badass he is, jumps in the water and sets both of our anchors by hand, saving us from hitting other boats and land.
They were lucky that Tony dived off the bow of the boat to reset the anchors and to have Towboat US. Bum's Bonehead Blunders number 2, Anchors Away. This clip shows one of the anchoring lessons the boys took before cutting the dock lines and sailing to Key West.
Put this on the anchor line. Don't drop it, whatever you do. And you're gonna hook the ball to that. You ain't gonna throw the ball overboard. Let's see this shit.
Throws the ball overboard, turns the engine on. Okay, so now you're telling me you motor over the ball here, huh?
Where's the ball at?
To your port side. It's right. You're almost on top of it, port side. This is an easier way. Okay, now it's going way
Hold it in
down.
by hand. Dip. Hold it in by hand.
When they first arrived in Key West, they dropped 2 anchors at a 45-degree angle from the bow of the boat.
Yeah. We're dropping a second anchor right now, just to play the safe game.
And then proceeded to go to land. Luckily, they were back on board when they discovered that the strong, tricky currents had twisted up their anchor lines and flipped the anchors upside down. They were dragging. Bum's Bonehead Blunders number 1, Cold Front. Following the advice of their neighbor who lived on a trawler just a few docks down, they followed a cold front on their first leg of the journey from Tampa, Florida to Key West.
We planned to sail straight through. We were following that cold front, so we had great winds from the north, shifting northeast, and then by the time we hit Key West, straight out of the east. Winds got a little stronger than predicted, so it made for a little bit of a dicey crossing.
Which is a bloody understatement considering all 3 of them had to change their pants after that crossing.
Came through the gnarliest fucking storm we've had the past year.
They spent their last night surfing down 8 to 10 foot seas. This was truly a butt-puckering experience and taught them a valuable lesson in choosing the correct weather window.
Yeah, we had her up to 8 earlier. It's crazy.
These are the tales of Moab.